Hi guys, come hang out with me and meet my new baby chicks and kind of see how we do our chicken thing on this like super hot day. Oh my goodness, come on. Hi, welcome back to the Lloydstead. I'm glad you guys are here. As I mentioned, I wanted you guys to come hang out with me for a little bit and meet our chickens for something a little different. We've done quite a lot of like yard worky stuff because that's the spring and early summer. Here we are in late July, actually very close to August, and we have some babies, and I'll talk about where they came from and all that stuff. But I wanted to let you guys meet them first and show you just a quick little trick on how I keep my chickens cool in this heat. Because y'all, it's hot. It's so hot. It's a bag of frozen corn from last year. I'm going to just rip this puppy open and put it out there in the food bowl or in the water bowl. So I'm sorry, I'm a little jumpy. I don't know if you've noticed. For two reasons. One, because it is crazy windy out there, like make me nervous windy. There's a cold front moving in and it's just really windy. So I'm jumpy, and then all the animals are jumpy, like our chickens back there behind me. And the cat, like the cat jumped out of its skin when a leaf blew down beside him. I don't know what's happening. And here's the other reason why I'm jumpy. I'm going to take you guys along for this journey. Yesterday, when I got the eggs, there was a giant black snake in the nesting box, and I'm really nervous. I didn't kill it because I can't. Because black snakes are some of the best creatures to have in an ecosystem, and I just couldn't. I just couldn't bring myself to kill it. It was just after some eggs, but Dave told me wisely, that just means it's going to be back because it knows where food is. So now I'm like really nervous, and I don't know. Okay. No black snake. I'm cool with snakes for the most part. Like I got him out and put him over the fence, and just don't startle me like that, right? Right, just don't startle me. I'm gonna go put this frozen corn in the chicken's watering bowl so they can peck at it and hopefully cool down. It'll cool their water down a little bit because we're in the highest heat of the day. It's about 4 o'clock and it hit 98, which means some of you people in warmer climates are going 98, whatever. Although in Virginia, we have humidity too. So heat index, I haven't even wanted to look because it just makes me anxious. It's hot. It's hot, y'all. And so I do try and take care of critters. I know that heat is actually a little more dangerous for our chickens, especially these breeds, than cold. Okay, so let me stop talking. Let me do that. And let me show you guys these chicks that I keep on glancing over and getting distracted by, but you can't see yet. Hi guys. Hi Hamilton. Look. Here. Eat some of that. Get some leaves out and such. Take some pecks of that, would ya? I should have replenished their water instead of putting the corn in the old dirty water, but watch them. It's kind of fun. Get it. Get it. Get it, Hamilton. Get it, girls. Yeah, okay. Let me show you the chicks, because I know you probably kind of want to see the chicks. Hi, babies. Hi, babies. Let's come down. I'm going to come even closer so you can say hello. Say hello to the people out in YouTubeverse. There they are. Aren't they just the cutest? Oh. Let me walk you through our chick setup, show you what we got going on here. All right, my good people. Here's our brooder. There it is. It is a good old giant galvanized stock tank from Tractor Supply. Pro tip. When David purchased this, it had a giant dent in the side, like a really massive dent in the side, and he got it for a discount. He just asked somebody, hey, that's got a giant dent in the side. Do I need to pay full price? And they said, no. Not saying it'll always work, but the chicks could care less that there was a dent in the side. And David actually took a hammer and rounded it out a little bit. I don't even know where it was. So yeah, so giant stock tank from Tractor Supply that we got at a discount. Inside there is a heating lamp. Now that lamp has a ceramic bulb, which means it's basically just a black bulb that does not produce light, just produces heat. So that's in that guy. This one is actually an LED that doesn't produce excess heat. See, I'm touching it, but it does give them light throughout the day. When we come down to let the big chickens out in the morning, we turn this on. When we put the big chickens to bed, we turn this off. They don't need light 24/7. There are people who might tell you that they do. And I disagree. I think creatures need dark. Creatures need to sleep at night. So we turn that off. I read in a couple different places that helps lower potential aggression. So that's how we do that. Obviously, the ceramic bulb stays on all night. Dave made this handy dandy little cover to keep out unwanted critters, and then made this kind of a hinge with, you see, we just use zip ties to place this all together with zip ties, and a 2x4 to make this little hatch that we can access all their things with. You will see I also have window screening over top of everybody because of the aforementioned snake, and that just ensures that nothing's going to get down in between the bars. Yeah, and then you see them in there moving around quite a lot. You'll notice that I've got my heat lamp pointed to one side of the brooder. Oh wait, pause. Let's pause. Yes, sir. Come on in. Where are you, little guy? Hi. What are you doing? Did you need to come see it in here? Come on. You're allowed. Well, are you coming in or not? All right. Well, let me close the door then. He's hollering at the door. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So the heat lamp is positioned to one side of the brooder, and that gives them the ability to control their own temperature. We've done chicks quite a few times at this point, and I know that if you see them all huddled underneath of the heat source, then they're cold. And if you see them all away from the heat source, then they're too hot. And in this temperature, I'm actually a little more concerned about them being too hot than too cold. So you'll notice we put the waters all the way on this side, so they've got to kind of venture out from underneath the heat source to come get water and food, and then they can run back under and get warm. And it seems to work well. They're all over this place. Of course, they're a little nervous because here I am hawking over them. Oh my goodness, can we just appreciate them? I could watch them forever. Look at them all running around. Aren't they just, oh my gosh. So let me tell you about these little guys. Tell you about this variety and why we chose them. These chicks are new to me, this variety. It's a variety called Bielevelder or Bielevelder, or correct me if I'm wrong. I will write it up on the screen. And I can't say for sure how much I like them yet, but I can tell you why I chose them and why I'm excited about them. You will notice that you've got, let me scare them. You've got this little one that's got little stripies. Hi, sweetheart. I know. Okay, you may go. And this little guy with no stripies. Oh my goodness. You may run away. Oh, I made them all escape to the hot end, so I'll come back a little bit. So this variety is auto-sexing, which means straight out of the egg, the little boys look very different than the little girls. All right, I just put some ice cubes in the rings of their waters, and I'm going to move out to encourage them to come over here. Okay, now that I'm outside, where I'm getting at least a little bit of breeze, because it's hot in that little barn. The advantage of having auto-sexing chickens, which again, the boys and girls look different straight out of the egg. And the Bielevelders are auto-sexing. So the beautiful little stripy ones are my girls, and the little light colored ones with the little white dots are my boys. And we here really like to get purebred chickens, or not purebred, but heirloom or straight breeding chickens. Hi. Editing Becky here. You know, the one that Becky is often talking about. Yeah. I needed to pop in here because it's cool now and I'm thinking more clearly, and I know that the word that Becky meant to use was the word heritage. We use heritage to refer to livestock that is straight breeding. Heirloom is typically only used for vegetables. So yeah, just back to you, hot outside Becky. Which are the ones that when you have a boy chicken and a girl chicken and they make baby chickens, that baby chicken has a really, really, really good chance of looking a whole heck of a lot like the mommy and the daddy. So when you hear about chicken breeds, you're probably thinking, or you've probably heard of these heirloom chickens, the Sussex or the Delawares or the bajillion other ones, or in our case, the Lancashires. And they're really nice for homesteaders because if we have a rooster and a hen and we collect their eggs, we kind of know what we're going to get out of the mix. So yes, however, one of the difficulties with just growing heirloom chickens is that you have to raise them to be many, many weeks old, 8, 10, sometimes more, before you know which ones are hens and which ones are roosters. And as much as we love our rooster, Hamilton, say hi. We don't want a flock that is half roosters and half hens. That's not sustainable in any way. A flock really only needs 1 to 2 roosters. All that to say, the nice thing about the Bielevelders, because they are auto-sexing, very shortly we are actually going to be able to separate out the little boys from the little girls. We're going to be able to raise our hens to be our layers, because apparently they are very good laying chickens. And we're going to be able to put the little boys in our chicken tractor and run them around pasture for the rest of the summer into the fall. And then they can be our freezer birds. Because yes, we do eat our roosters. Oh, I'm sorry. I startled. That's not cool, is it? I'm just making all sorts of noise. This variety comes highly recommended as a good laying bird, but also as a bird that will put on enough weight in order to be a very good harvestable bird within a relatively short period of time, which you don't always get with different breeds. Man, being in there with all the chicken danders got me a little bit stuffy. That's the Bielevelders. All right, I moved positions slightly, but I wanted to talk kind of briefly. Famous last words. I never talk briefly. I did want to talk about the different ways in which we have gotten chicks before and pros and cons of each. So here, editing Becky is going to sum up what I say, aren't you? Editing Becky, it's going to be great. You're going to do great, kid. I believe in you. Okay, so let's start off with how we got these guys. Of course, late July into August. These guys were mail order. This particular one, I can say we got Hoover Hatchery. We've used a couple different hatcheries. I can't recommend one any more than the other. We've always had luck when we do mail order. The benefits of mail order, and the reason why I did it this time, is you get a lot of options. I had kind of had the idea that I wanted this breed when seeing another YouTuber who raises them. And so, yeah, I was able to find them in mail order. I would not be able to go to the local feed store and get this variety. So that is a pro. Hi, sweetie. Oh, just your friend. Your friend? A friend. Anyway, okay. Focus. Mail order, highly recommend. The con of mail order is, well, there are a couple cons. One is often you do have a bit of a wait. I actually ordered these guys in March I believe. Now this is a harder breed to find. And so I obviously scheduled out many months before I got my chickens. But you have time to plan. And this will actually be really great timing for our boys to be able to harvest them before the winter, because we're hoping to grow them out by for about 12 weeks. Anyway, all that to say, mail order is great. You have to wait a while. The other con is when you get the notification that they've shipped your chicks, you've got to be available to pick them up from the post office. They gave us 2 days notice. We expected them, and luckily Dave was off work that morning. I was not. But that leads to another con. You might lose a chick or two in the mail. We did this time. And it's the first time actually that we have ever lost a chick in the mail, but it happened. I'm actually grateful that Dave was the one who picked them up. Often hatcheries will send 1 or 2 extra. This time they didn't, but I understand this is a sought after and kind of rare breed right now. So we did lose one, and all hatcheries, if they're reputable, do guarantee that the chicks will arrive happy and healthy. So if we wanted to, we could request a replacement. The issue with that is they would have to send like 7 more, because they don't send baby chicks solo in the mail, which is another con. You have to get a minimum. However, there are very few places where you don't have to do a minimum, which leads me to the next way in which we have gotten chickens, which is from the feed store. And it is likely the way in which most people get into chick keeping, because you go to Tractor Supply or wherever you go in our area, it's Tractor Supply Company. And in the spring, you see those stock tanks and they're full of babies, and you hear them chirping everywhere in the store, and you see them running around with their little red lights, and they're just so gosh darn cute, and you only have to get 6 or 7, which is lower than most minimums for mail order. And it's a really great flock starting size. It's a lot of fun. Like I said, it's how we started to go with our little kid and get a little box full of little chicks and ride home with them, and it's all exciting. And you're right there where you can pick up all the things that you need. So recommend that. However, cons for the feed store route. You have a very limited selection. I can tell you, you're gonna find hybrid layers. You're probably gonna find the most common varieties like Barred Rock. You will find the most popular varieties. We were actually just there picking up the feed for these little guys, and while we were there, they had 4 varieties to choose from. And they still had them in late July. So it is not simply a spring thing. Another con from picking them up from the feed store is, I'll be honest, I don't always have the best luck with healthy chicks. We have had great chicks, and we've gotten some that haven't been so great. I hope that that's not super fuzzy in my mic. All right, way 3 of getting yourself some baby chicks is to hatch your own. And we have done that too. We've done lots. So in order to hatch your own, that's beyond the purview of this particular video. It's grand fun. Highly, highly recommend. If you have hybrids, then it's going to be a mixed bag what you end up hatching out, but that's part of the fun. You do need a rooster. Seems to be obvious, but I'm surprised. You don't need a rooster to get eggs. The hens just lay eggs no matter what, but you do need a rooster for those eggs to actually grow babies inside. The more you know. But if you have a rooster, if you have a friend who's got a flock with roosters, just ask them if you can have a dozen eggs and hatch your own. Pros, you can have a lot of varieties. You can control your own breed. Many of these breeds came from people who just hatched out the eggs from the generation before that were good survivors, and they were able to select the traits they wanted and develop breeds. And it's a relatively easy thing to get into if you want to, and that's all possible if you hatch your own. Far cheaper, especially if you have a source of eggs. In fact, kind of free if you have a source of eggs. Cons, obviously, it takes a while. It is a 3-week commitment. It is not the easiest thing in the world. There is startup costs involved, and it is heartbreaking. I've lost lots of chicks that I've hatched, but so much fun. I used to do it in my classroom when I was a science teacher, and it's just the most fun ever to see these babies hatch out. So that's another source. Source 4 is Facebook groups and online marketplace. Often, especially in the spring, there are people who have hatched out more than they need, and you can get chickens. Obviously, kind of a mixed bag, and you have to navigate that on your own, but it's another way to get them. 5th way that we have, I've never actually gotten them direct from friends or anything, but the 5th way that I have gotten chicks before is we have actually gone direct to a breeding farm to get a variety, to get a couple of varieties that we wanted. We had some Delawares for a while. Great chicken, highly recommend. Now, like I said, the Bielevelders are going to fill a gap that none of the other heritage breeds that I've talked about can fill, which is that ability to pull out the roosters from the get-go instead of letting them all grow up and having room for all of them and then separating out the boys. So I'm looking forward to this experiment. All right, friends. Sorry, I'm so sweaty. It's so hot. I hope this helped. Anybody who is considering getting into chickens, highly recommend it. Anybody who was maybe looking for inspiration for how to set up stuff, I hope this helped. I am looking forward to having you guys actually along as we kind of explore this new breed, new to us, and I think relatively new to the chicken world. I'll have to look that up. So yeah, ask your questions, like, subscribe, come hang out with us here at the Lloydstead. Again, bye. Why are you like all up in the food? That's not cool. That's not cool. I know he said, what are you doing up in there? He said, what? He said, what?